When you're playing fingerstyle jazz guitar, whether you're in a duo context or a solo guitar setting, generally speaking, you'll be playing, some larger chord voicings in addition to smaller voicings. But you'll also be playing multiple parts. Maybe in a solo guitar arrangement, you'll do 3 parts. You'll have the bass going down at the lower end of the register, some chords in the mid register, and then your melody or solo line at the top. If you just look at the way that everyone's hands, or the way that your hand falls on the strings, your ring finger and your pinky, your 2 weakest fingers on the right hand, are up here playing the most important aspect of the part, which is the melody, of course, or the solo line. So it's important to to add add your pinky to the mix. Most people, regardless of whether they're accustomed to playing with a pick or fingerstyle players, they don't use their pinky at all. So introduce it. Hello there, welcome to the party. So let's get that going. And it just makes sense to use that because you're going to need to be plucking the string with your pinky to make a melody sound. So one thing that you can do just to start off with is just play a note with your pinky, and then just see how it feels and check out how it sounds. You might also want to try to do that with your ring finger. It would be normal to play the note on the top, 2 strings, the B or the E string, with the index or middle. But try playing those notes. You might even want to play like a scale or something, only using your ring finger and your pinky. Then try pinky. It might feel a little strange at first, but gradually it'll feel really comfortable. And it's important to be able to grab a note with your pinky, because in many times if you're playing 3 parts, for example, your thumb and index and middle fingers will be preoccupied with playing a part down in this, this register of the guitar. They'll be playing chords in a walking bass line. So it's going to be up to your pinky or ring finger to grab the top 2 strings to articulate a melody or a solo line. I think a great way to just get into feeling both of these fingers, both the pinky and the ring finger, is to start out by playing 5-note chords. So if we play, like, for example, the first chord on your handout there, this is a G major 13 chord. What we have is a 5-note chord that spans across the strings, and you want to posture your right hand or your picking hand so that the thumb will take care of the low string. Index and middle have the 2 middle strings, the G and D strings. And then your ring finger and pinky are going to be planted on the 2 high strings. So there's a few different ways of practicing this. It's a very simple exercise, but it's very, very important in terms of having an evenness of sound. You don't ever want your melody to be weaker or softer in volume than your other fingers are playing, the less important parts of the bass and the chords. The melody always has to stand out. So a couple of different ways that you can practice using the pinky is just simply plucking all 5 notes at once. And spend some time listening to each note in the voicing. Pay attention to what the high note is. You might even want to sing it, Maybe the note that the ring finger is playing. Then maybe the middle finger note, which is a B. By singing along with the notes, you're all of a sudden paying attention to the notes in the chord voicing. And when you're paying attention to them, now you can hear what they're supposed to sound like, and you can ask yourself, well, am I hearing it, in the context of playing a chord? Because that's very important. It's just as if you were laying, all 5 fingers evenly on a keyboard. You want every note to sound full and clear and at the same volume level. So this is a great, very simple but great exercise to develop the evenness of notes in a voicing. So if you find yourself, for example, if the bass is too loud, then try playing the bass a little softer with your thumb. And then really maybe pull on the strings a little more with your fingers. Another thing that you can do is separate the 3 registers with your fingers of the right hand. So you could do bass, middle register with IM, and then the top 2 strings with pinky and ring. And then finally, what you can do is just arpeggiate each individual note of the chord using thumb. So the combination would be P, I, M, A, and then C is generally used to indicate the pinky. You might even want to try to accent the string with the pinky because that's going to be your melody anyway. So that would be the note that you'd want to stand out. So maybe try doing a dynamic exercise where you're arpeggiating the notes and you're playing the first part of the chord very soft piano, and then you try to play the melody on top with the pinky, mezzo forte or forte. And you can move this around to different chord voicings that also, use the same string set and 5 notes. The next chord on your example is an A minor 9. And you might even want to try the opposite of that. You might want to try to accent the bass or play the bass loud while the rest of the chord is soft. And then vice versa.